got an interest. I think it's a very interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Niners, Chiefs. Just real quick with the Chiefs, that was who I wanted the Browns to play because I was like, this is the most vulnerable they've ever been. I think we can smack the Chiefs around. They're in the Super Bowl.
Me and you talked about it. We were like they're because of who's on that team on the offensive side of the ball, pretty much Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey. Their defense is completely overlooked. And I think nobody even gave their defense any kind of respect.
The defense has been carrying them this year.
The defense is absolutely carrying them. I do think it's a very interesting game. You talked about like who do you want to root for, like, or are you even allowed to root for certain teams like that? Like, to me, I have no interest in either of these teams, right? Like the Browns are out. I know other than Ray, I really pretty much all the 49er fans I know, I'm like, I don't want them to win. But I think for I like Andy Reid a lot. Like, you know, for a legacy standpoint, I'd be interested in seeing if I had to like cheer for somebody. I don't really care either way, but I think Andy Reid seems like a great dude. I like Travis Kelsey a lot, you know, Cleveland guy. So, I mean, if I had to like pick a team, I would say the Chiefs. But I think it's a very interesting matchup.
So in terms of, this was a question, we'll kind of blend it into our Super Bowl talk in terms, do you root for other teams once the Browns are in it? For me, I would never say I'm rooting. Correct. I might have a team or a player like I'm interested in. Yeah. Like I was pulling for the Lions. When they lost, I didn't give a shit.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
No tears shed.
No tears shed, right. Yes. So there's teams, you know, I might be pulling for. This might sound crazy as a Browns fan, and because like I'm probably supposed to hate them because they're in the AFC and we're in the AFC. I don't really have a problem with the Chiefs. I like Andy Reid. I don't have a problem with Patrick Mahomes.
He's very good.
Okay, I don't have a problem. His wife and brother are annoying as shit, but I don't have a problem with him. Travis Kelsey, like you, I like Travis Kelsey. I know a lot of people don't like him because of his Pfizer commercial and his girlfriend. I don't care where the guy gets his money, and I don't care who his girlfriend is. I think he's funny and he's good at football.
Yeah.
He's from Cleveland.
He's from Cleveland, and he still very much enjoys Cleveland.
Correct.
So I'm not going to hate the guy for that. But that being so, I don't have a problem with him. But the team I'm pulling for in this situation would be the Niners because I'm not going to root for the AFC team if I have a choice. Right. I might not have a problem with the Chiefs, but I'm not going to root for them to win it.
Right.
And I like Kyle Shanahan. I like Nick Bosa. I've been a CMC fan since he was at Stanford.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling for the Niners here, and I think Brock Purdy. I hate the hate on Brock Purdy. And so I think it would be awesome if he came out here and outdueled Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl just to shut everybody up, because you can't call him a system QB. If that was the case, why isn't Sam Darnold this good for this team? Why isn't Jimmy G this good for this team? They call him a dink and dunk master. No, he leads the league in air yards. Okay, his yak is actually less than Patrick Mahomes' yak of the year he won MVP. So. There's just all this poor narrative about Purdy, and I'd love him to come out and have a good game and just shut everybody up. So I'm pulling for the Niners, but again, if the Niners lose, I'm not going to care.
Right.
Right. For me, it's like, as long as there's not a team in the Super Bowl that I absolutely hate, like if the Ravens were in the Super Bowl, I would be rooting against them. Yeah, I don't care who's playing. It's the opponent.
Correct.
When it comes to a game like this, though, which is most Super Bowls, I'm honestly I want a good game.
Yes.
Like last year, it was the Eagles and the Chiefs, and I really didn't have a preference. I wasn't really pulling for either team, to be honest with you. I just wanted to see these two great quarterbacks, these two great teams, and it was a great game.
Yep.
And one thing about Patrick Mahomes, though, with the Chiefs is, and I took a lot of crap for this as a kid whenever the Patriots were on the top and Brady was winning all the Super Bowls. I was like, I kind of just want to see how many he can win. Like, I appreciate greatness in that regard, kind of like with LeBron James in the NBA. Like, I just want to see the best players do it at the best level. And if the 49ers can knock them off, cool, good for them. I want to see them succeed and continue to push that greatness boundary until somebody stops them. So those are kind of I guess I root for things. I don't necessarily root for teams. I want a good game. I want the best players to have great performances and I just love taking in all that football greatness.
I agree. I root for a good game. And a lot of times what happens to me is I'll start watching a game not caring, And then in the game,
same thing.
Something will happen to a team, or a team will maybe get down early and they start to mount the comeback. And I'm like, okay, I want to see the comeback. I could go into a game not caring, or maybe I'm pulling for the Niners early, and then like maybe I think the Chiefs get the raw end of a deal, and I'm like, oh, that was bullshit. I want, and then I'll start. So sometimes that kind of happens to me. I do think this is an interesting game.
Yeah.
What's your gut say? Who wins?
So I think the Niners are like almost as complete of a team as you can put together, unlike in every aspect of the game. I mean, like their offense, there's weapons everywhere. Their defense is loaded. Something just tells me Chiefs. I have a feeling that it's just going to be the Chiefs.
Blake opened up this whole conversation about the Chiefs were the team that he wanted the Browns to face in the playoffs because he thought this was the year you could beat them. I'm taking the Brady and Patriots approach. I will not bet against the Chiefs until they lose and start losing consistently. So I would actually take the Chiefs in this one. What about you?
This is one of those things, again, like Justin says, I feel like the Niners, top to bottom, they're definitely a better roster.
Correct.
I think so, for sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, at times they've been a little fraudulent this year. Right. They got their asses kicked by the AFC. They lost to the only team in the AFC North they beat this year is Pittsburgh. In week 2? Week 1. We played them in week 2.
Yeah.
They got beat by us. They got throttled by the Bengals. They lost to PJ Walker. They got throttled by the Ravens.
Baltimore's
they ran through the very non-competitive weak NFC. And anytime they played a team from the AFC, they just got stomped.
With a good defense. They could put some pressure on Purdy and made things interesting.
I'm very curious to see what team shows up for the Niners. And it almost feels like if you don't get the Chiefs this year, when are you going to? Because they're not going to roll with this same crappy wide receiver core.
No, they're going to go get one next year.
They're going to go get somebody. Yeah. Like they got Mahomes, they're going to be going for it every single year.
Well, and I think we talked about Rashee Rice has kind of turned into a legitimate receiving weapon for Patrick Mahomes. So they go get a burner with separations.
T. Higgins, Mike Evans, any of them kind of guys, you throw them with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and Pacheco. And
this is a very, very, very good and deep wide receiver draft class coming up.
I think Pacheco could play a huge key in this game.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
He's sneaky kind of a difference maker for them. They're very finesse, and then he's just a battering ram.
He's a mean,
yes.
He's an angry runner.
Again, I think the Niners on paper are the overall better team, but this is not. I just won't pick against them like you said until they lose.
Right.
It could go either way. I won't be shocked if the Chiefs lose and the Niners win, but I'm going to continue to pick the Chiefs until I'm wrong.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.